Hello, I'm Nicole Spittler with All Designs Equine, and today I'm going to teach you how to make this country style Sola wood rose horsehead wreath. So I begin with a 24-inch pine wreath, and I just cut it in half, and then I'm going to begin to make the shape. This is probably the hardest part of it, but once you get the shape, the rest is pretty easy. So I'm going to cut the wreath in half, and then I'm going to bend it to make it look sort of like a candy cane. The lower half of the wreath I need to bend to make sort of a triangle to make the neck. And then the upper half, which will be the head, is more like a curved part of the candy cane. I will use regular pine garland to fill in the rest of the shape. I twist all the greenery together to give it more shape, but also to make it very stable feeling. When you pick it up, it should feel like it's very stable form, and all holes in the wreath should be filled. If this is extremely difficult for you to make, I also sell just the blank greenery and horsehead form. So it's all together and it's ready for you to decorate. I will also have that linked in the description below. So after I keep adding garland and twisting the pine together, and I'm happy that the horse looks like a horse, I'm going to take boxwood, and you can use any boxwood color that you like. I like to use lots of different shades of the same type of boxwood: light green, dark green, even a medium green. And I sometimes even use a garland, and I'll just pull off the boxwood from the garland and just glue it in separately. And then once I'm happy with the way that looks, we're gonna start on making the mane. Now we're ready to begin with the mane. I simply purchase a garland that I like from a craft store. Sometimes I use multiple types of greenery to create a mane look. I always like to add variation to everything that I do because it's just more interesting. I cut the appropriate length of the horse's neck, and I attach the garland by simply, once again, using the wire in the pine and twist it on to the mane. It doesn't really even need to be glued or anything because the wire will just hold the garland onto the neck. After that, for this particular wreath, I'm using a mesh burlap ribbon, and I'm going to make and add a burlap mane. So I cut small pieces of burlap and make a simple bow just with 2 loops and a middle loop and some sturdy wire, and I wire 4 bows together. Then I attach a long piece of garland to the neck, and in order to hold it, you can use, once again, the method of the pine and twisting it around the one long piece of garland, or I take the wire that I use to make the bows and just push it into the burlap piece of mane and glue it. I like to lift it up and see if there's any pieces sticking out that need trimmed. So I generally trim the boxwood and the pine. Next, we're going to make the bridle. You can make it out of any kind of ribbon that you want. I'm using a burlap ribbon here, once again, to match the mane. And then I just eye the pieces and create the noseband, the headstall, the bridle, rein. Now comes the really fun part. After I make the bridle and make sure it's glued down well, I start adding the Sola wood flowers. The Sola wood flowers are gorgeous. They're beautiful. They're versatile. You can also paint them if you want a different color. For this wreath, we're just going to stick with neutral colors, but you can do whatever suits your fancy. So I attach the Sola wood flowers wherever I like them, and I do tend to put them on the bridle points. I'm also using a neutral taupe colored flower that's similar to a cosmos, and some seeded eucalyptus, and some little tiny white flowers, and you can use whatever you like. It's a very simple wreath, but it's very pretty. I've also attached a piece of pine that looks similar to an ear. You can use many different things for this if you don't have something like that handy. Even some large leaves or something like that works for an ear perfectly. I'm just going to add a finishing touch of a forelock, and then basically it's done. If you need to fill in any areas, I always have to go back and recheck and look at everything. It hangs on a wreath hanger very easily, just by virtue of the fact that it was made with a pine wreath. So no special hook needed, just a wreath hanger or a nail, and it will hang just fine. If you want to just purchase this wreath, you can go to my Etsy shop at alldesignsequine.etsy.com and purchase the wreath, and I will have it linked in the description below. I will see you next time when we're going to make another equestrian style wreath. Until then.